Welcome to this tutorial teaching how to use the Flex Layout feature of Penpot. This is going to be very similar to Auto Layout in Figma. What we do is if we select an object over here, notice we have the option to add a layout by clicking this plus button. Or we can right click and go down to Add Flex Layout. It does the same thing. Before I do that, I want to call your attention to over here what we have going on. We have just our main board, which is this white board that we're working on. It's the size of an iPad is what I set it to. And then we have these 4 different ellipses, just each here on the board. Suppose our team comes to us or our client and they say, look, this is great, but we got to get rid of that blue one. It's messing everything up. Well, normally, if you don't use a layout, you can just delete it, and then now it's ugly because you have white space there. And so you're like, well, let's put this back over. There we go, fixed it, no problem. Didn't take too long. But then they say, oh, we actually like that blue one. Can we put it back and add another one? Oh, sure. I think I'll duplicate this, and then I'll make this one blue. So you can kind of do it over and over again, but there's ways to make it much quicker, and that's using these layouts. Actually, I'm going to go to Control Z to get that back to how it was. So with the layout, if we select all of these, notice over here they're all selected. We right click and go to Add Flex Layout. Well, now it changed it all to board. Well, it put them all inside of this board, and we can see they're all in here now. This is a different type of board than this white board that we're on. It's different than the board tool. This is a layout board. You see it has a different icon. So we can rename this, and we'll call it circles. Call it whatever we want. And now, notice also it got rid of the space. When we made it into this layout, it got rid of the space in between each of those. If we come in here and select the blue one, maybe our team says, this is nice, but that blue one needs to be first. Okay, no problem. Left click, drag. It'll just pop over there to the first order. This is a row. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 items in it. If we want to drag something up and down, notice it's not moving. I can only move left and right, or I can move out. If I drag this out, it becomes out of our layout. So now we only have 3 items in our layout, and the other ones are in there. We can also drag and move things into our layout. So that's pretty cool. We can also adjust the spacing around this. So this will behave just like any grouped object, other than it has new options over here under layout, this layout panel. And it's only when the actual layout is selected, not the items inside of it. So we select this layout that we've called circles, and we come over here and we see we have direction. If we change the direction, it'll change the way that these are ordered. We can change into a column if we want. So if we want all this stuff to be up and down instead of sideways, we can do a column, we can do a reverse column. We'll talk about this wrapping in a second. We can change the justification. Now all the rest of these are going to only apply to when we have this selection box is larger than the items inside of it. So right now there's no space on the top or left. There's no padding around it basically. So if we click over here, none of these do anything. All these alignment things, none of these 9 align or justify will do anything. So it doesn't really matter until we change the size of this. Now these rules are going to be like, oh, what's this going to do? It's going to align to the top. No, align to the center. No, align to the bottom. No, let's do center, horizontally. No, let's do to the right-hand side. So if we want center, center, awesome. And then these ones down here, we can adjust the space between. This is very similar to when we were doing these align and distribute up here, but now it'll change as we adjust. So it's always going to be in the center in this case. And it's also different than the constraints that we talked about. So we'll have to learn the different times to use these. We use them all in conjunction with each other. So if we want more space in between these, we can click over here and say content space between. Now we have space here, no space on the ends. And as we resize this, it will change. And then if our team comes to us and says, listen, that purple one's got to go. No problem. We come in here, we find the purple one, we hit the delete key on the keyboard, it goes away, and we still have this nice space in between. And now they say, bring that purple one back. All right, no problem, we got it back. We click in here to the circles and see what else we can do. We can do this one, justify the content. So now we've got space on the edges and space in the middle. And then there's this one, justify content evenly spaced, is going to make this space on the edge the same space as in between each of these objects. So these are it's a little bit hard to see in this case, but this is just the circle has some space on the outside of it. Imagine it has an invisible stroke. That's why it looks like double spaced inside and half space on the outside. So that's these two different ones. In addition to these, we can give it some more spacing. So down here, we can give it padding. If we give it horizontal padding, it'll give it a little bit of extra padding. We'll just use our scroll wheel. And then notice this is slowly going up here. We're getting some padding on the side. One thing I'll say too is while we have this layout selected, it does have some constraint options also. And that's because if we resize our board, everything's going to behave just like it did in the last video. We can cut this off if our board cuts it off. So this does have some constraint rules as one big, group of circles. But each of these individually no longer have constraints. We can't set constraints for these. We can only do these flex elements. We have some different options here under flex elements, but we cannot do, we can't apply a constraint. Normally, if I let's draw two different things down here. Normally, when we have just a regular group, right click, group, this group, the items inside here still follow constraint rules. So if we come over here, notice this has constraint rules and their scale. So it's set to whenever this group changes, you guys need to scale. Each of you need to scale. And we can change those individually. We didn't talk much about that in the last video, but we could change this and say, just always stay center. So it's possible to achieve with a group something similar to what the flex layout is doing, at least as far as the placement goes. But what we can't do with the group is adjust it so that when we shrink this in, we can't make it so that we're basically doing wrapping like you would do with text wrapping. And that's what I want to show you next, is if we delete this, we select these. Remember, there's this option here under layout. We can change the columns and the rows. This wrap option, by default, it's set to no wrap. But if we click wrap, now we get some new options here for how the content needs to be wrapped. But by default, if we make this smaller, notice they're gonna go down and change, so we can get it all the way to column by adjusting the size of our layout box, or we can just have 1 be down there, or 4 just like this. So if we click this over here, it's going to align everything to the top. So as this gets resized, it's going to say that your priority is make sure everything's at least touching this top. Then as you shrink over, now keep following our align and justify rules that we set, which ours are set to center. These are kind of things that we kind of just got to play with to see exactly how they work. These ones are going to align always to the bottom, and then we do this. And it's because we had these options before. If you remember, if we click this no wrap, we have just these justify options. But when we wrap, we still have the justify options, but now these ones take over a little bit. So if you remember with text, when we resize our text box, it doesn't make the text any larger. To change the size of the text, we have to come down here and change the font size. So this text box behaves a little bit just like we were just playing with the flex layout. If we make this smaller, it wraps around, and all those options are here in our text also. If we want this to be centered, we make our text box bigger than our text, then we have the option. Do we want to align it to the center? Do we want to align it to the right? Do we want to keep it aligned left, but do we want it to be in the middle of our text box? Do we want it to be at the bottom of our text box? I don't know why that middle bounced back up there. So there's these different options here. And then text also has this auto width and auto height. I don't know if we played with. So if we make our text box too big and it's messing us up with our constraints or our overall alignments, we can just resize this by clicking auto width. And that did auto width, auto height, but you can also do auto height. And then it just makes our box just go around our content. Just like it did out here. If we scroll out with this layout that we did, we also have that option. If we make this larger, it has an option for right here, flex element sizing. So we can say automatically fit to content horizontally and automatically fit to content vertically. And we can change that too, because it'll always do that as we adjust this. Well, once we adjust it, it sets it back to fixed width. But we can automatically get rid of that by just clicking those buttons. And so text behaves differently. And we can put our text in here, which is why I was saying that. If we drag this in, now we have text as part of as one of the elements on our layout. So now if we rearrange our layout, that text is up there following the same rules, and we can move it around and have it do, different things in here also. I think I'm going to end this video here, but I encourage you to play with this, what we've done. There's a lot more functionality, but it gets more confusing. For example, we can have a flex layout within a flex layout if we select these two. And so I'm going to let you play with this and get some experience. And then in a future video, we'll do some more advanced, probably doing a website, creating different sections, each one its own flex layout. What it lets us do is quickly move these around. See, if I push the arrow key on my keyboard, we can just move around different elements. So you can imagine your entire website is going to be made up of multiple different layouts. And then you can move around very quickly. You can drag items in and out, and it becomes very powerful. But it's also something you don't want to jump into too quickly because it can be really confusing if you don't understand the basics. So just go ahead and draw some things and play around, and then in a future video, we'll harness this power and maybe focus a little bit more on some specific use cases. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I look forward to catching you in the next video.